Michael Scott sits in his office. It's a normal Wednesday, and he looks directly at the camera and says, "I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious."
But I am a little stitious.
He's dead serious, and the camera cuts to Dwight nodding, completely bought in. That right there. That's the moment you need to understand about The Office. This show is not about paper sales. It's about a group of people where someone is always one move ahead, and by the time you realize what's happened, they've already extracted exactly what they wanted from you. This is every character in The Office ranked by actual intelligence. We're not talking about who got the best grades. We're talking about who reads the room, who manipulates it, who walks away with what they wanted while everyone else is still trying to figure out what just happened. Number 5, Kevin Malone. Kevin is the guy everyone laughs at. He forgets his own password. He can't do basic math. He's just the lovable idiot sitting in accounting, right? Except Kevin is running a game that's so subtle, most people don't even see it's happening. Kevin does his job. That's it. He shows up. He does accounting. He doesn't get involved in any of the office drama. When Toby comes around trying to enforce some HR rule, Kevin's response is interesting. He doesn't argue. He doesn't rebel. He just ignores Toby completely, acts like Toby doesn't exist in the room. And it works so well that Toby eventually just stops trying. That's not stupidity. That's understanding that the most effective response to someone trying to control you is to make them irrelevant. Here's the thing about Kevin is he's the only person in that office who doesn't want anything from anyone. He doesn't want to be promoted. He doesn't want to be liked. He just wants to show up, do his accounting, and go home. And because of that, he's immune to the games everyone else is playing. Michael can't guilt trip him because Kevin doesn't care about Michael's approval. Dwight can't outrank him because Kevin doesn't respect the hierarchy. Jim can't manipulate him because Kevin isn't chasing anything. He's already won by having nothing to lose. But here's the thing that gets crazy. Kevin is actually solid at accounting. When it matters, when numbers are involved, Kevin is locked in. He's not trying to be impressive. He's just competent in the one area that actually matters financially. Yes, and he does this while everyone's distracted by their own stuff. That's the play. Number 4, Stanley Hudson. Everyone sees Stanley as this bitter old man who just wants to be left alone, but Stanley didn't stumble into that position. He engineered it. Stanley understood something on day one that most people spend 9 seasons trying to figure out. The office is a job, not a calling, not a place to build your legacy, a place to survive and extract a paycheck. So Stanley does his work well enough that nobody questions him. He shows up, he does his data entry, and then he clocks out. When Michael tries to inspire him with some motivational speech, Stanley's response is always the same. He doesn't care. And that apathy is actually his greatest strength because it means he's the only person in that office who can't be emotionally manipulated. This shows up in the Pretzel Day episode. Everyone loses their mind over a pretzel. I mean, they're literally fighting each other. But Stanley gets his pretzel, goes back to his desk, and continues his crossword. Or because Stanley knows something everyone else has forgotten. This is not important. And because Stanley has accepted that his job is just a job, he's the only person who can actually enjoy the parts of his life that matter. He goes home to his wife. He has hobbies. He has a sense of self that exists completely outside of Dunder Mifflin. Everyone else is trying to build something at that office, trying to find meaning, trying to matter. Stanley already decided none of that was worth his time. And by season 5, Stanley's won. He gets the good chair. He gets his pretzel. He gets to leave at 5 o'clock without guilt. And he doesn't care if anyone respects him for it because he's not looking for respect from people he doesn't respect in the first place. Number 3, Angela Martin. Angela is terrifying because she understands something that most people never figure out. People want to believe that someone has it figured out. People want to believe that there's a moral authority. Angela just decided to be that person. Her strategy is almost stupid in its simplicity. Establish a moral framework. Make everyone believe you're superior based on it. Then use that moral authority to control every situation. People don't question Angela because Angela has positioned herself as the person who knows right from wrong. When she tells Erin she can't date that guy, Erin doesn't argue. She just accepts it because Angela is the moral center. When Oscar challenges her on something, he's the one who looks petty. When Dwight contradicts her, he's the one who looks disrespectful. Okay, and here's where it gets crazy. Angela is having an affair with Dwight for literal seasons. Everyone around them is too busy accepting her as the moral authority to notice she's breaking her own rules. By the time the affair comes out, it takes a pregnancy, Dwight's obsession going public, and basically the entire office turning on her to finally expose what's happening. And even then, she doesn't really lose. She gets Dwight, she gets married, she positions herself as the victim. That's not luck. That's understanding exactly how much rope you can give people before they start pulling back. Angela controls through moral authority. She tells people what they should think, and because she says it confidently enough, they believe her. That's a form of intelligence that goes way beyond traditional smarts. But wait, there's someone else in that office who's doing something even more sophisticated, and you're about to see how. Number 2, Jim Halpert. Jim's superpower is making you think he's not doing anything. He's just the guy sitting at his desk making funny comments, pranking Dwight. He's relatable. He's non-threatening. He's likable. Except Jim is systematically isolating Dwight and rewriting the entire office narrative to his advantage. The prank dynamic is key here. Jim pranks Dwight constantly, but he does it in a way that makes Dwight the problem when Dwight gets upset about it. Jim puts Dwight's stapler in Jell-O. Dwight gets angry. And when Dwight gets angry, Jim's the one who looks confused. Like, why is he so upset? I was just playing around. And somehow, by the time the scene ends, Jim is the reasonable one and Dwight is the guy who can't take a joke. That's psychological warfare dressed up as friendship. And nobody sees it because Jim smiles while he's doing it. But the Dwight thing is actually the warm-up. The real play is with Pam. Jim decides he wants Pam before Pam even realizes she's interested in him. And instead of just asking her out like a normal person, Jim spends literally years building a narrative where they're soulmates. He's always there when she needs something. He's the guy who understands her. He positions himself as the only person who really sees her. And by the time they actually get together, Pam doesn't choose Jim because she's attracted to him. She chooses Jim because Jim has spent years convincing her that they're inevitable. And once they're together, Jim uses that same dynamic to make decisions for both of them. He decides they should move to Florida. He decides they should move back. And he decides to take a job in Philly without discussing it first. And when Pam complains about being unhappy, Jim doesn't have to argue his position. He just gets sad about it until Pam feels guilty for making him sad. That's not love. That's emotional control. Jim's intelligence is that he makes you feel like you're choosing to do what he wants. He never pushes, he just creates the situation and then acts surprised when things go exactly the way he obviously engineered them to go. And everyone loves him for it. Number 1, Michael Scott. I can already hear this. Michael is an idiot. Michael cries all the time. Michael makes stupid jokes. Michael is basically a man-child. And yeah, all that is true. But none of that means Michael is unintelligent. Michael's actually the most sophisticated intelligence in that entire office. You just have to understand what his actual goal is. Michael's goal is not to be a good regional manager. Michael's goal is to be liked. Once you understand that, everything Michael does makes perfect sense. Michael is running a psychological operation to make his employees emotionally dependent on him. Watch what happens. Michael comes in day 1. He's supposed to be the corporate guy. Instead, he completely reframes his role. He tells everyone to call him Mike. He's their friend. He's their mentor. He cries with them. He celebrates with them. Michael makes himself indispensable by making himself irreplaceable emotionally. When he fires someone, he cries so they feel bad for him. When he does something wrong, it becomes this moment where everyone comes together to support Michael. He's not managing people. He's making people feel like they're part of his family. And it works. Michael keeps his job for 7 seasons despite being objectively bad at his actual job. His numbers aren't great. He doesn't implement proper policies, but he's kept his job because Dunder Mifflin can't get rid of him without destroying office morale. The office would fall apart. So they keep Michael because Michael has made himself the glue holding everything together. When Michael actually leaves, the office doesn't function. It's not because they miss his management skills. It's because Michael has set himself up as their emotional anchor. He knows exactly what each person needs. Ryan wants to feel important. Michael makes him his protege. Pam is insecure about her art. Michael validates her. Oscar is cynical. Michael respects his intelligence. Dwight is desperate for approval. Michael gives it to him, turning him into his enforcer. And here's the part that makes Michael truly genius. He's not faking. Michael actually cares about these people. He genuinely wants them to like him. But he also understands that genuine care is the most effective form of manipulation. Because when you actually care about someone, you understand them. And when you understand someone, you know exactly what to say to get them to do what you want. Michael wins the office by understanding something most people never figure out. You don't win by being smarter than people in a traditional sense. You win by understanding people. Michael reads the room better than anyone because he's not trying to. He's genuinely interested in who people are, and he uses that interest to make sure they'll follow him anywhere. By season 9, when he leaves, there's no question about whether the office will miss him. Of course they will. Michael has spent 9 seasons making himself the person they need most. That's not stupidity wrapped in tears. That's genius wrapped in authenticity. And that's why Michael Scott is the smartest character in The Office.